Okay, so first thing we're going to do, this is to do Canon and Apex file. So first thing I like to do is open a file, or sorry, make a new file. That is 48 by 96. So that way we know what exactly, how much, oh, so that's something that happens. So when you create a new file, if you don't clear out, so here I'll show you. If you don't clear this number out after you do another job, it will do that every time you open it. So create, and then I'll just close out the other one. Close. All right. So then we have real specific details for this. So what I'm going to do first is you know what I might actually do? I might actually do one artboard over here. So let's make that the correct size. That'll be 18 by 24. So then let's do our box. So M makes a box. So I'm just going to tap, and I'm going to make that the same with 18 by 24. So center align everything. The way I did that was with one of my buttons over here, but it's center, and that just pulls it into the artboard because I have the artboard selected right here. So the way that we select corners, because we're very specific about corners, what is it? Corners are 0.25, 0.2. So you just select the box, and then once you have it selected, you go up into, I just am always in, I'm not sure how else to get that to show up. I always switch arrows, so I switch to this arrow and do this because I know that it'll make it show up there. So that's how I always do it. So now our corners are ready. Okay, so, and we need 1 inch from the corner. So I'm just going to lock this, make a 1 inch square 1 by 1, and make it so that it's up in that corner. The way I'm doing that is by aligning it so that it aligns to the top and to the left, just to get it where it needs to go. The whole size that we need is 5/8, I think, 3/8. So we'll just type in 3 divided by 8, 3 divided by 8, and that's the size hole that we need. And when they say 1 inch from the corner, that's how I do it, because it's always the inch to center. So, okay, so now I like to make this a different color, and I like to make this a different color. So that when we go and do this, then I'll rotate, and then I align to the right. So then that puts it over there. And then select them both, group, rotate, sorry, make a copy. Make a copy, so we're holding down Alt to make that duplicate, and then I'm hitting E on the keyboard, or just rotating it. I'm rotating it around like that, and then holding Shift to make sure it stays. So now it's facing this way, and I'm not sure how I got that to move. Oh, let's go back. Back. Okay. So, oh, because this needs to be grouped, group, and then send it over. So now that's right. So then we're gonna make this grouped. So now they're now individually grouped, but if I touch them both, I can group those two together, so now they are one. We're going to make a duplicate of them both, and then we're going to rotate these around. So I just switch to the free transform tool, which is right here, E on the keyboard, and then now we're going to align to the bottom. So now they're down here. Okay. So now I can select all these green boxes. So that, again, you'll go select, same, fill. So do that, hit delete. So now they're all gone. So I'm also going to select all of these and get rid of their stroke, like that. I'm going to make a duplicate of this guy. So I'm just going to drag a copy of him, and then I'm making a copy, then I'm deleting. Reason being because if it was already in the group, this way it's not in the group anymore. And same with over here, copy, and paste back in place, which is Control F. So I'm going to grab these two guys and center align them in our artboard right down here. So, and then now I'm going to check, because we also needed to make sure that it's going on a U channel, so it needs to have an exact number of, it needs to be on an even inch between the holes, which it is. It's 22, so that's perfect. Okay, so we still have our radius sign in the back. So we're going to switch this. This represents, so I use the stroke to represent the bit size. So I've learned that 17 point is equal to the bit size, and I'm going to turn this out. So this works like outside compensation. I explained this in another one, but I'll do it real quick. Another video, but I'll do it real quick. So 6 millimeter by 6 millimeter. This is our bit size. So we're gonna make this a different color. Let's make it I don't know, blue. Oh, and to get rid of that outer, whatever's selected, you can just hit what is this? The backslash on your keyboard to get rid of it, and it goes away. So imagine that this is the bit. So this is like it's on the outside of the sign. So what is inside of it will always be true and the correct size. Sometimes we do no compensation, which means that it's going to take away half the bit size from the sign. And so a good visual representation of that. I'm just going to change the color of this so you can see. And let's switch this out to be the center. Sorry, to be the center. So you can kind of see that's going to split the difference. So it's going to take this much from it. And there's one more mill option that can be inside. So this means that it'll cut and take away 6 millimeters from all sides. So the one that we want for this instance is going to be outside like that. And I like to use the stroke to visually show me if things are too close to each other. Okay, so this is essentially our apex file. So I'm going to go ahead and before even bringing in artwork, I'm just getting this fine-tuned. So we're going to need a CCD layer. We're going to need a mill layer, and we're going to put outside comp. That tells our production person how they're going to be cutting it, because they can cut it all three of these settings where it's outside, no compensation, and inside compensation. And if you choose the wrong one, it'll be an issue. So for drill marks, or for holes rather, I'm just going to group all these together. So there's no, so that they all move together. Oh, I can just grab them, touch it, select all. Okay, group. So now we're going to make another layer. This one's going to be holes. We like to do holes before we cut stuff out, so that way the sign doesn't shift. So these are holes, and we're going to type inside comp. So the reason that we do inside comp is because if you if we do inside comp, it will cut a hole like this. If we do, let me show you with the strokes because this is important. So, okay, so this is what 17, this is what inside comp looks like, right? It'll remove the inside of the shape. This is if there's no compensation. That'll be the size of the hole. Outside compensation will be that much larger than the hole, basically twice the size of what we need. So we always got to make sure that we tell him the right, the correct compensation. Okay, so that's good. And this is our file, and we're just gonna make sure that everything's on the right layer. So mill is already on mill. So then let's select all the pink. We're gonna move that to the whole layer. And then, so this file is ready, so we can, a quick and easy way to do this is to grab the artwork. So I'm just gonna drag and drop into here, and then we're gonna make it the correct size, which is 18 wide, and it's 23 tall. So a quick and easy way to do this too is to touch it, and then I have a quick set on mine that does both centers at the same time. So it is a little bit short. What I would do with that is, because this is already kind of close to the hole, honestly, I think we should probably do a proof for them. So I'm going to make this our artwork layer. So we're going to drag and drop this onto this layer. And our mill, I'm going to remove the center so it's not in our way. Boop. Okay. So I'm now locking everything. So you use these locks to lock what you don't want to touch. So now I can touch anything and it's not locked, or it's not selecting anything. I'm making a copy of this, and I'm pushing Control B to make a copy in the back. And I'm stretching. I'm holding Alt to give myself a little bit of bleed. So let's turn all these off so you don't see them. So that's kind of what I'm ended up with, because this is what I'm going to put on the file for us to print. So that way we have more than enough bleed. Because where the artboard is how large our sign actually is, and that's how much bleed we have. Okay. So now we can lay this out on the sheet. I'm just going to do this one, but you know, we can fill the whole sheet, and we'll just save this layout. All right. So the way to do this is to make sure that we're keeping everything together. I would keep using this artboard. We're doing 13. I'm not exactly sure which ones we're doing, because it says gambrel. Okay, without stopping, I'm just going to use this one to demonstrate, right? So I would keep using this to be able to get it to center underneath of it. Oh, and the reason I used this as my bleed, like another one of these behind it, is because if I eye drop, sometimes the color doesn't turn out correctly. So I just don't do that anymore. I just use the color from the background and just expand it. Okay, so I'm going to leave a copy right here too, so that way it's easy. Alright, so we're going to get this close-ish to the edge. And then we're going to hit our circle. It's already set to 6mm. This is for the camera. 6mm, 6mm. And we're going to turn this so that's a fill, make it black. We're going to make 2 dots. We're going to lock that one. Oh, actually unlock. We're going to move them onto the CD layer, lock everything else. And I'm locking that one. The reason I'm locking that one is because when I go to do the next step, I don't like that one to be unlocked. So I'm going to select these two, group them together, and then slide that down, and then we'll make an L, undo all these. And then this is why I do this mark, because if they're too close, the bits will, if you want them to run independently, we have to give space in between, like that. Okay. So I also like to label it. So it'll be like 3040. You know what it is, Kaiser labs, and then apex underscore apex, right? So that way Jeremy can see that on the file. So I just rotated it. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this here. I don't even think that this is one that we're gonna use, but I'm gonna show how to save it too. And you're gonna fill the sheet however it fits. You could probably rotate, I mean, just to give you some tips, because I'm not going to be there to do it all the way, is to maybe rotate one and then have one over here just to be able to fill more space. So let's just leave it like that. So when we go to do the print file for the Canon, we're going to turn off the holes, turn off the mill, and then Control S, Control Shift S, and then you're going to 30480. We're going to label this production. And then this is going to be our Canon. So change it to be a PDF. So this will be our Canon file. And then we'll turn these two back on. Delete our artwork file. Yes. So the way that Jeremy and I have been doing it is, let's keep this, I'm going to keep the mill off for now. So we can't, okay, so we're going to duplicate everything on this file. All right, which that should have worked. Yeah, okay, so we're going to select same color, and then we're going to go to, oh, actually, we'll do it this way. Just grab one, hit select, do start global edit. Now we have to lock all of these first. So now we can do it, select global edit. Okay, that'll work. Alright, select global edit, and let's change all of these to 0.125, 0.125. Reason for that is because this is going to end up being the drill layer. Jeremy might be able to help follow this too. So, okay. So these black marks, so it's going to print a copy, but then these two, oops. So we'll lock this one. Okay. So this is our mill. Sorry, my brain's going. Okay, so all of these dots are going to be drilled first, right? So these are all of our drill marks, and that's our CCD, so they're going to be read by the apex. So then this is the file that gets saved. This gets saved as a DXF file, export as. And then we call this one apex. Okay. And then we're going to go back a few. back, until we see this one where the mill comes back in. Control Z a bunch. Delete this layer. But then this part needs to be flipped. So just right click, make sure everything's unlocked, right click. Transform, reflect, make sure it goes this way. Sorry, I didn't do it correctly. Transform, reflect. The quick way to know if it worked right is your two dots are now over here. So then this gets saved as file, export as, same thing, but flipped. So he'll use the print file to print, then he'll use the Canon file to print, then he'll use the Apex one to drill all the holes, and then he'll flip it over and use the holes that he drilled over top of the CDC registration holes to read the back and then to cut from the back. So next I want to show you how to load it into the printer. So you're going to select no white quality as our quick set, and then we're going to open it and then find our file. It's automatically going to rotate because that's how I made the setting, because when it goes on the Canon it needs to be printed that way. So there it is. So you don't even need to do anything to it. You can just go here, submit. And then you would hit print now. I'm not going to hit print because this isn't exactly finished, but you can hit print here. You can also add offsets here, so that way if you needed it to be a certain distance off the sides, you can. In here before you even get back there. And then if you have notes for Jeremy, they go here. And then you can do quantities here as well. So if we need to do this sheet 10 times, this is where you would do that.